The last frontier. The ocean. Vast, mysterious, and still largely unknown. We often think of outer space as humanity's final frontier. But in truth, there's an alien world right here on Earth, hidden beneath the waves. Beneath the warm surface of the Pacific, far past the reach of sunlight, lies a realm of crushing pressure and eternal night. A place so extreme that for centuries, scientists believed life couldn't possibly survive there. Bones would dissolve, cells would collapse. Even the most basic processes of life would fail. And yet, life does survive. Our journey today takes us into the deepest place on Earth, the Mariana Trench. A discovery at sea. The story begins in the 1870s. The British ship HMS Challenger was on a mission to map the sea floor. Sailors lowered heavy lead weights, measuring depths the hard way, with rope, sweat, and patience. Most of the ocean floor lay 3 or 4 kilometers down, flat and featureless. But east of the Philippines, something remarkable happened. The rope didn't stop at 3 kilometers, or 4, or 5. It kept sinking. More rope was added, and still it sank. At last, the weight struck bottom, more than 8 kilometers beneath the surface. The crew had stumbled upon a hidden scar in the Earth's crust, the Mariana Trench. And had they been just a little farther west, they would have found its deepest point, the Challenger Deep, a pit nearly 11 kilometers down. To imagine this depth, picture Mount Everest flipped upside down and dropped into the trench. Its peak would still be buried under nearly 2 kilometers of water. How the trench formed. What could create such a colossal wound in the seafloor? The answer lies in plate tectonics. Earth's crust floats on a sea of molten rock. Where plates collide, one can be forced beneath the other in a process called subduction. The Mariana Trench marks the boundary where the dense, ancient Pacific plate dives under the younger Philippine plate. As it bends and sinks, the crust is recycled back into the mantle. This process fuels earthquakes, volcanoes, and the fiery ring of fire that encircles the Pacific. The trench is not an accident. It's a vital part of Earth's ever-shifting surface. The descent begins. To reach the bottom of the trench, we must first pass through the layers of the ocean itself, each zone stranger than the last. The first is the epipelagic zone, the sunlit surface. It extends only about 200 meters down, yet it supports nearly all marine life. Here, tiny organisms called phytoplankton harvest sunlight, releasing half the oxygen we breathe. They feed zooplankton, which feeds small fish, which feed larger predators. From tuna to whales, the entire ocean food web begins here. But sunlight cannot penetrate forever, and so we descend. The twilight zone. At 200 meters, we enter the twilight zone, an endless dusk where sunlight fades into gloom. Temperatures drop and the pressure begins to mount. Here we find the most abundant vertebrate on Earth, the bristlemouth fish. Tiny, fragile, and numbering in the quadrillions. They are proof that life thrives even where light barely reaches. Many creatures here glow with bioluminescence, bursts of blue-green light used to confuse predators, lure prey, or attract mates. It is a world caught between day and night, and soon even that half-light disappears. The midnight zone. At 1,000 meters, the last rays of sunlight vanish. This is the midnight zone, a realm of perpetual darkness, cold waters, and immense pressure. Here dwell creatures straight out of nightmares. The anglerfish with its glowing lure, the giant squid with eyes the size of dinner plates, and predators with teeth so sharp they can pierce armor like scales. Deep-sea vigilantism is common here. Life grows larger, slower, and stranger, adapting to scarcity and pressure that would crush any land creature. The midnight zone covers more than half of Earth's surface, the single largest habitat on the planet. Yet it remains one of the least explored. The abyss. Beyond 4,000 meters lies the abyssal zone. Here the temperature stabilizes near freezing. Sunlight has long since disappeared. The sea floor stretches into vast, featureless plains of silt and mud. Life here survives on marine snow, a constant rain of organic particles drifting down from above. Around hydrothermal vents, where heat and chemicals pour from the crust, entire ecosystems thrive without sunlight at all. Instead, bacteria use chemosynthesis, drawing energy from sulfur and methane, and in turn feeding worms, crabs, and fish. It is a reminder that life doesn't need the sun. It only needs opportunity. The Hadal Zone. At 6,000 meters, we enter the Hadal Zone, named for the Greek underworld. These are the deep trenches of the ocean, and none is more forbidding than the Mariana. Here, pressure is over 1,000 times what we feel at the surface. Temperatures hover just above freezing. Yet life still exists. Ghostly sea pigs crawl along the sea floor. Giant anthropods, 30 times larger than their shallow cousins, feed on rare scraps of food. Strange snailfish live deeper than any other fish known. Even single-celled organisms called xenophyrophores thrive here, growing to the size of a baseball, coming about the largest individual cells on Earth. The Hadal Zone is alien, hostile, and almost completely unknown. The Challenger Deep. Finally, at nearly 11 kilometers down, we reach the Challenger Deep, the lowest point on Earth's surface. Only a handful of people have ever visited this place. The first were Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard in 1960, descending in the submersible Trieste. It took them 5 hours to reach bottom, where they glimpsed life moving across the sediment. Half a century later, filmmaker James Cameron made the first solo dive. Since then, just a small group of explorers, fewer in number than those who've walked on the moon, have seen the trench floor with their own eyes. What they found was not emptiness, but survival. Creatures adapted to crushing pressure, feeding on whatever scarce nutrients drifted down from above. Why it matters. The Mariana Trench is not just a hole in the ocean. It is a reminder of Earth's power, resilience, and mystery. We've mapped Mars in greater detail than our own seafloor. The Hadal trenches cover an area larger than Australia, yet less than 0.01% has been explored. What else waits in the darkness? What secrets lie hidden in the deep? Our journey into the trench is more than science. It's a reminder that our planet still holds mysteries vast enough to humble us. Planet Unveiled. We are surface creatures, comfortable in sunlight. But beneath us lies a realm older, stranger, and more mysterious than we dare imagine. The Mariana Trench is the edge of our world, and perhaps the beginning of others. This is Planet Unveiled.